She said, I don't know why everyone is always asking for more shades. We all know if there's a sale, the darker shades are always on sale because black people don't buy them. Guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Gary here. What is going on? I feel like I've not uploaded a full long form video in a while. If you are subscribed to me, you're probably seeing I'm banging out the shorts. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can be with everything. But this video today is going to be a bit different to the normal vlogs I post when I do. It's going to be all about black beauty brands and the closing of black beauty brands. If you want to see what's going on in this video, keep on watching. Okay, so I feel like this kind of came into my head yesterday. I was literally scrolling on TikTok and a mutual of mine, her name's Laura. She's actually like a drawer. I think she used to be the beauty editor at Cosmo or director, one of the two, and she actually does videos where she speaks about brands closing down, the future of beauty, and we all know it's a hard year, it's the recession, what's even happening, and we've seen so many beauty brands come and go, like even like Morphe closing their stores, but I feel like there's been a slight repetition in black beauty brands. So you guys probably have seen, I've done all these videos on here, especially what's her name again? Too Much Mouth. She did a video on UOMA Beauty closing, and actually found that UOMA Beauty was closing through Laura as well, because the last time I actually even had an encounter with UOMA Beauty was when they actually did a collaboration. I think it might have been with The Lion King, or it was like similar to it, but we actually went to see The Lion King with UOMA Beauty, and it was really cool. The collection was amazing. They've always been amazing on eyeshadows, always been amazing at lipsticks, and their foundations and concealers are actually pretty good in terms of the undertones. So when I found out they were closing, it was actually really sad, because you know, I've met Sharon, the owner, loads of times. I've worked with UOMA Beauty loads of times, and it's just a bit crazy. I haven't spoken to Sharon. I have had no contact with her since the last Lion King. No, I actually saw her at the Glamour Women, it was a Glamour Women's Festival, because the Glamour Women's Beauty Awards, because UOMA Beauty has sponsored it, and they put me up in a room. That's the last time I saw her. And then I saw on TikTok that basically people were complaining on Instagram about not getting their orders, which is crazy. So I went to look at their comments, and people were like, where's my order? Like, what's going on with UOMA Beauty? There was no kind of like message on their website, so people could still order on their website, which is actually flipping insane. So I was just deep diving. I was like, okay, let me just see what's going on. Obviously, I'm not going to message to ask you if her own beauty business closed down, because I think that's a bit intense. But just from the comments, I could see people weren't getting their orders. Then I tried to go on their website this morning, and their website is no longer even active. I know there's still products on Ulta, but that might be Ulta's own stock they bought. And I don't even think Boots. It'll be interesting to see, because when I did a job with them, I think they had a counter in Harvey Nichols. So I'm guessing that's not there anymore. The rumors are allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know if this is true, 2 people have bought UOMA Beauty, but I'm not too sure what's going on. I'm not even sure. I feel like it could be saved because it is an amazing brand, but I feel like people really like the brand because Sharon was such a pioneer. Well, she is a pioneer. Like, she did the whole stand up. What was it called? It's called Stand Up or Shut Up. Or basically during the lockdown where you know, the whole Black Lives Matter movement and the whole George Floyd situation has gone down, she was challenging businesses to basically show how much black people or people of colour they had in their work business. And I think during this time, obviously we're all in our house, everyone was really shocked to see, you know, there weren't a lot of black people working in beauty, even in like diverse beauty brands. There was literally like 2% of black people, 3% people of colour, 10%, 15%. It literally wasn't a big percentage. I can't remember who had the highest percentage, but I know it was quite shocking for everyone. And I feel like during that time, everyone was so kind of like woke and really just putting their energy into it, being like, you guys need to be more diverse, you guys need to do this. And I think a lot of beauty brands took it on and, you know, high diversity for that period. But obviously we're out the lockdown now, so I'm not sure if she continued with doing that. And I think a lot of brands were actually scared to even show their stats because the girlies were getting dragged. The girlies were getting dragged. Like, it was actually so shocking. Like, even just one of the brands I work with, I was like, to be fair though, even though, because I go to a lot of obviously press dinners and meet a lot of PR sometimes, I don't think there's a lot of black people in PR, and the people that are, it's a very small circle. But anyway, fast forward, obviously we're out the pandemic, we're in normal world. I'm not sure how well UOMA Beauty was doing. I know Sharon posted something on Instagram being like, you know, she's stepping down as CEO. You know, she's gone through so much, and I think she's just worked her ass off. And fair enough, but I feel like she definitely had to explain to the girls what was going on with UOMA Beauty. So I'm not sure. She hasn't made any statements. I'm not sure if the brand's gonna come back. I do miss UOMA Beauty, but UOMA Beauty is closed, and that was a real I'm not gonna lie, that was a real big shock, because I think that was a brand that was actually killing it. Like, to be in Harvey Nichols, to be in Boots. They were on Beauty Bay. I think they were in Selfridges. I think. And one comment that Laura made that was really her name's Laura Capon. Last name Capon. She made a really cool comment. So as I was speaking about, you know, the lockdown and her, you know, mission, like stand up or shut up, one of the whole things. I'm probably saying it wrong. She said maybe some of these businesses that were catapulted. Why do you say it? Catapulted. That basically bought in very quickly because of this whole campaign. And, you know, everyone was trying to be woke. People were like, you know, let's buy black businesses, let's support black businesses, let's do this, the black pound, blah blah blah. And I think a lot of retailers were scared because they didn't have a lot of black owned businesses. Like, when I think about back then, no one had any black owned businesses in terms of beauty. There was none. There was actually none. So I know Boots bought her in, Harvey Nichols bought her in, all these like retailers bought all these black businesses in. So she was saying because of this, like, you know, demand and, like, you know, it being so high, then obviously after like a few years it dying down, because let's be real, guys, a lot of people that were woke and posting those black squares back then were not woke. They were doing it because they felt they need to be. Obviously, you know, each to their own, but it's like, if you don't want to be woke, don't be woke. It was just, and I feel like I've seen that in like a lot of people, like, you know, they were so like pro this, pro that, you know. And now it's just very much like crickets in everything. You know what? There's so much things happening in the world, and, you know, people are woke, fake woke about many things. My train of thought has gone. Anyway, she was saying that a lot of businesses, you know, were pushed in so fastly, and obviously people are buying all these products and using them, and, you know, reposting black content creators, reposting this, telling people to follow this. Even I was shocked, people that were even like putting me on their stories being like, follow Gary. I'm like, girl, I have never spoken to you in my damn life. So don't be telling people to follow me when I see you at events and it's all crickets because you're scared, child. Anyway, so I think that is definitely a big reason. I can 100% agree with her. And the next brand, which I was so shocked about, Beauty Bakerie. Beauty Bakerie is closed. Beauty Bakerie, I will say, they had a very strong aesthetic. It was, you know, the beauty blenders in the egg cartons. Everything was like, you know, her powders were very much based on baking. Her powders were really good. She had the concealers. Everything was all based around sweets, baking, and, you know, her passion. Because I think she was a cook or something, or she was a baker, but I know her story was super inspirational. And she started the brand while she was in hospital or something like that. Then there was this whole controversy where the girlies were accusing Huda Beauty of copying her powders, because I can't remember for the life of me what her powders were. But I know, obviously, Huda Beauty had Easy Bake, and her powders were based on baking. And obviously, it was the whole cooking situation that Huda had done. It got a bit messy. And obviously, back then, I think there was all these drama tea channels. And child, it was just so messy. But Beauty Bakerie's products were so good. And I remember them reaching out to me and sending me, you know, their foundation. Their concealer was amazing. I haven't had anyone use Beauty Bakerie in a long time. Maybe sometimes I'd be like, what? Some of the girls were like, I wear Beauty Bakerie powder. And I know they had launched into Boots not recently, but maybe about 2 years ago. So they actually had a stand in Boots. So coming back to Laura's comment, like, I'm not sure if Beauty Bakerie needed a stand. I don't know. Well, she posted an article saying that this was like quite a while ago, that they were on track for 15 million in sales, which is amazing. But I just feel like, you know, I feel like when a brand has such a strong aesthetic like Beauty Bakerie had, it almost is like the people that have grown up with it, maybe it didn't transition onto their next life. Like for me, like something like that would seem childish to me. Like not in terms of like the innovation. Her products were really good, but in the terms of the aesthetic, it just, I don't know. In my head, I just didn't think of Beauty Bakerie because I don't know, like the packaging of it was so cute, and for me, I'm a grown-ass man, do you know what I mean? But obviously for the whole Gen Z, that's probably them, but I feel like people like in that age range don't know about Beauty Bakerie. So I feel like they didn't evolve with the times, which is really sad to say. But I know she made a statement. I was reading it last night. I think something about, you know, God has changed her path. She doesn't feel like this is right for her anymore, and now she's going on in a new direction, which is sad because I feel like the girlies definitely would have cleared her out if she did like a, you know, closing down sale. I was looking on Boots and on Look Fantastic, and everything is basically like 70% off. All of her foundations were like £3, £54. So when you go onto our website and you see things are missing, or it says stock not coming back or clearance, the brand is about to go. So it's really sad that Beauty Bakerie went, and it just made me feel like there isn't a lot of black beauty brands that are really like killing it or really surviving. The only people I can think of is Pat McGrath, but Pat McGrath is different. She is like one of the world's best makeup artists. She knows about the trends, and I think when I think of aesthetic, her brand has such a strong aesthetic, but it's more grown, it's more cool. So I think a lot of people can kind of like chime in, and I feel like Pat McGrath has only recently got her flowers. Like, she made that whole Margiela trend fashion show go famous, and the girlies didn't even know Pat McGrath was black. The girlies thought Pat McGrath was some Irish brand, which you can't, you know, her name Pat McGrath, but still, people have been knowing who Pat McGrath is. So that's another one where I think it's very different. Danessa Myricks, I think, is just now, the girlies are starting to know who she is. I kind of found about Danessa Myricks in the lockdown. I think that was through makeup artist Katie Jane Hughes, and Danessa Myricks, I think, is on her way. Like, she's already there. Like, her products are so innovative and her formulas are insane. The girlies are locking onto Danessa Myricks, and I'm trying to make it myself. My mouth was literally so dry. But yeah, I'll say Danessa Myricks. I was just saying that, like, yeah, her formulas are amazing. I feel like she's been around for so long. I would say her brand is more artist heavy. Like, I feel like some of the products, a lot of people would be not scared, but they would kind of struggle, like, how would I use this? So I think her products are now going into kind of more of like a consumer friendly kind of vibe. Like, I know she does these amazing like multi-purpose paints that give me matte vibes, and they're so good. But I think sometimes when people see brands like that, they can be very much not scared, but a bit like, you know, hesitant because they're like, how do I use this? And like, they don't want to seem like, you know, silly asking help. But her products are so user friendly. She's killing it. Have I met Danessa? No, but I was meant to meet her like last month, but I was in Thailand, so I actually couldn't meet her. But she's so sweet, and she's just released so many amazing products. But her, Pat McGrath, who else is a black owned brand? I'm not going to forget someone. Pat McGrath, Danessa Myricks. There isn't a lot. I can't think of any. I know there's Black Opal. Black Opal isn't in the UK though, so I know Black Opal's had a big resurgence, but that's not in the UK, so I can't really speak about that. But there must be someone else. I'm actually just thinking. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I actually don't think there's any black-owned brands right now that are, you know, in the levels of Pat McGrath, Danessa Myricks, and in the levels of UOMA Beauty and Beauty Bakerie that are in major stores right now, which is actually crazy. Because I'm thinking about Sephora, Boots, all the brands here, and I can't think of any. Which is actually wild. I would obviously say UOMA Beauty and Beauty Bakerie, yeah. And I was actually asking myself last night, why are these brands closing down? I think for UOMA Beauty's products were insane. I personally think it's a bit that had to do with it was products. I think some of their product launches were a bit, not hit or miss, that some of them just were a bit to the left, and I think they just, I don't know, no, some of their products were really good. Some of them were a bit hit and miss, which like is any beauty brand, but I think now to survive in today's like kind of like, you know, makeup world, you really have to think about what the consumer wants. And I think sometimes with these big makeup brands, I was actually talking to someone about this today, they have to go through so many people to release a certain thing. So imagine if UOMA Beauty was going to release a highlighter, and highlighters were obviously like not as in fashion anymore. They probably started working on the highlighter maybe a year ago, and when they eventually release it, cream blushes and cream highlighters are in fashion. So I think sometimes a lot of times with these big brands, they have to go through so many other things, and sometimes production takes a lot longer. So if you're in a big store, there's just so many rules. But I think there's a lot of indie brands that are now killing it. I was talking to someone literally this morning about it. Like, I know there's a Chem Beauty, there's a lot of independent black owned beauty brands, like especially like on TikTok Shop, that are obviously killing it. But like, I think with the indie brands, they can my brain's going back. They can really know what the consumer wants and really release things really quickly, because they are, you know, a smaller team. They have direct, you know, kind of contact with their manufacturer. They don't have to go through all these kind of big, kind of huge corporations. That's why I think these indie brands are killing them right now. But I think it's so sad that like the black beauty brands are dying. I just think it's actually really sad. Hopefully more are released and, you know, really kill it, because I think sometimes also that, you know, obviously the non-black girls, I think when people see a black-owned beauty brand, they think it's only for black people. And the amount of times people ask me, oh, can I use it on my beauty? Can I use the Nessa Myricks? Like, is there a shade for me? I'm thinking, girl, are you absolutely on crack? Of course there is a shade for everyone. Like, a black-owned brand isn't just going to bring out black shades. Well, some of them do, which obviously ain't nothing wrong with that, because it's still in 2024. We're still kind of... I still feel like the makeup industry is amazing in terms of like where we've come. But when it comes to certain things like lip liners, bronzers, powders, you know, all those kind of things, especially in the drugstore, it's not really there yet. It's not really, you know, there. But I feel like there's definitely still space for brands and, like, you know, to really cut into that space, because you gotta think without undertones, we gotta think about, you know, the richness in our undertones, like pigment. Like, it's actually crazy to think. And I was also thinking that, like, I feel like the makeup industry has gone back to 2019. I've been looking on Trendmood. I've been seeing a lot of launches that have really been shocking me in terms of the pigment. Not the pigment, in terms of like the shade range. Like, I remember like last year, the year before, I think brands were really on it in terms of shade ranges. Like, it was really, really good. And I feel like I'm not even just talking about foundation. I'm talking about shade ranges in bronzers, in lipsticks, in liners, in everything. Like, I feel like when brands think about inclusivity, they just think about foundation shades and, you know, a powder, but it goes more deeply than that. If like a consumer can't get a lip liner from you, a bronzer, a blusher that shows up on their skin tone, then why should they shop from you? Just because you give us a foundation doesn't mean we have to like consistently buy from you every single damn month. And I think a lot of brands are just going so backwards. I was looking at bronzer releases and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I recently bought a bronzer from like a really big brand. I bought a bronzer because I saw the girlies promoting it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this bronzer because I like the brand, and the brand does amazing stuff, and the brand has, you know, some of the girlies as the face of the brand. So I bought this bronzer. I kid you not, this bronzer was like £45, and this bronzer did not show up on my skin tone. But I thought I was going crazy for. I thought, let me do the little googling. So I went on their website, and they had someone that looked like me in my skin tone advertising the bronzer, but when I bought it, the bronzer wasn't my skin tone, and I was like, this is so bad, because like we're in a recession, and the girlies want to buy things that, you know, make them feel good, and like, you know, they want to like maybe invest in something that lasts them a bit longer. And if I can get scent stuff, but obviously not everyone can. I'm not, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, so if someone sees maybe I'm using something or someone else using something, they're like, oh my god, like that looks amazing, let me go and buy it, and then they buy it and it isn't their skin tone. We can't return makeup like you guys can in the US, so I just thought, oh my god, like this is actually crazy, I can't return it because I thought it was gonna be darker, but it actually isn't. And it's not to say that someone might see me using it or someone else, it's if they went on the website, it's just fake advertising. So I was like, this is actually crazy. So I just feel like right now makeup is giving me 2019 vibes with the release. I actually saw quite a triggering comment on Trendmood. Someone commented, I can't remember what it was about. It was about I think it was either a foundation release or a bronzer release. I can't remember what brand it was. Oh, that's gonna really annoy me. But there was a woman in the comments and she said, I don't know why everyone is always asking for more shades. We all know if there's a sale, the darker shades are always on sale because black people don't buy them. And I actually thought, how fucking dare you? How dare you? Like, that is so disgusting, so mad and borderline racist, because how dare you? How bloody dare you? And if I can remember what the brand that it was a brand that basically has no powders for us really, no lip liners, basically nothing. It was basically just them not giving us any shade. So I always say, like, you know, I always think about people that are a bit older than me and their generation, because I give my mom and sister so much makeup. Like, I give them like so much makeup, and they never really they never really change what they use. I could give them the best of the best. I could give them the La Mer's, I could give them the Papagraphs, I could give them whatever, but they like what they like, and a lot of it's MAC, because I think when people feel safe with a brand, they kind of stay with that brand. Like MAC, for a lot of people, even though a lot of people say that, you know, MAC has kind of changed and they're not doing things that they used to be doing. People love MAC because it's safe. People don't want to, you know, invest in all like the other brands because like they're just too up and down. Like, you'll give us shades one year, then the next year you'll discontinue the shades. Like, for example, Lancome is a really big example. Like, I love me some Lancome, but I think I heard that like they discontinued some of the shades of Tint Idol. I'm thinking, what in the world? They obviously reformulated it, but they discontinued some of the deeper shades, and things like that are so mad. Because imagine if you were a huge fan of Tint Idol, and then, you know, they discontinue the dark shade. So I think like people are just gonna stay low to the brands that do everything they do. Lip liner, Chestnut. Powder, Mineralized Skin Finish. Lipstick, Taupe. Blush, Raisin. Powder, Studio Fix. Brows, Brun. So that's why I think a lot of the older generation don't really like, I don't know, explore in makeup. Like, I think the only generation that really explore makeup is my generation, Gen Z. Let me guys know what you think in the comments. I don't want this video to be a Netflix documentary, but let me guys know what you think, and it'll be very interesting to know like what are your thoughts on this. Do you think there's still room for like brands to come out with like and be, you know, with more shades and stuff? Let me know. But love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.